I don't want to make any long-form content on Starfield just yet. I don't want to be the 80th video in your feed talking about this game. You would have heard so many opinions on Starfield already, and I don't want to be another guy in that pool. It feels like I just be putting out a video for the sake of putting out a video. I do, however, want to talk about this game from the perspective of a PC player and rant a bit about some of the features or things that Starfield does or doesn't do that feel like they make me feel ignored as a PC player, or sometimes insulted, to be honest. For context, I'm really enjoying Starfield. I think Starfield's great. I don't know if it's incredibly exceptional. I don't think it's a crazy next-gen experience. I just think it's a solid Bethesda RPG. That said, let's get into the rant, which will start with the options menu. This is one of the worst options menus for a PC game I've seen in a very long time. It's one of the most bare bones options menus I've seen in a very long time. As a PC player, I've come to expect certain things. You know, there are certain things that I think are standard when it comes to customization and accessibility when going through the options menus in a PC game. Starfield lacks a lot of those options. The first of which, there's no exclusive full screen. I don't know why. Exclusive full screen gives you some of the best optimization that you can. Borderless full screen, there's input delay, and obviously the only other option is windowed. But why would you want to play in windowed? So that's complaint number one. I don't know why there isn't an exclusive full screen option. It doesn't really make sense. That one really caught me off guard when I first discovered it. And then of course down here, we have some of the weirdest, most nothing options that I've ever seen. They aren't nothing options. Obviously they have an effect on the graphical quality of the game, but where's view distance? Where's foliage detail? Where's texture detail? Where's texture streaming, texture filtering? Where's character detail? Where's all the other options that you could possibly think of to add into a game to customize your graphical experience? Basically, none of it's here, including anti-aliasing. Luckily, you can turn off anti-aliasing in the consoles, or TAA in the consoles. Luckily, otherwise, we would have some problems. But yeah, this is just, it feels like a lot of the detail that you would be able to customize in other games just isn't here, weirdly enough. Like I would love to be able to customize how good my textures look or something like that, but I can't. And oftentimes when I play games, everything else goes on low, textures goes on high. Sometimes level of detail, view distance, they go on kind of medium, just so I can, I get a bit of an immersive experience. Those things aren't here. It's shadows, grass quality, ambient occlusion, motion blur, obviously crowd density, volumetric lighting, particle quality, reflections, indirect lighting, shadow quality. That shit is like I feel like I have nothing to work with here. I have a sneaking suspicion that a lot of the options that I just mentioned, like the specific ones, like character detail, foliage detail, things like that, I have a sneaking suspicion that the reason those aren't here are the same reason that TAA, temporal anti-aliasing, is often used nowadays. I don't know if they're intertwined, but it feels that way. And then, of course, we have no options for FPS limit customization. I can't customize the FPS in menus. And then versus the game, I can't change the limit of FPS. All I have is VSync, which will lock it to your monitor's refresh rate. But obviously, there could be a 120, could be a 244. You could do it any number that you wanted to, but that option isn't here. It just seems like there's a lot missing from here. And it's very disappointing as a PC player to see this and to not be able to customize my experience. It makes me feel like I'm ignored. There are other things that are minor that I can't really think of right now, but one of the biggest ones is that there's no FOV slider. Now, this is obviously known, and they're probably going to work on this. Mods have already enabled this, and you can change it in the files. But it just screams out of touch. If it's not going to be in the options menu, what are you doing? And the thing is about this stuff is that I feel like when you go through playtests, when you go through QA, this stuff's got to come up, right? Like if you have a QA member on staff at Bethesda, surely they're telling you, guys, we need an FOV slider, or a playtester is telling you we need an FOV slider. And it's not here. It's just weird. It's just really, really weird to me. I'm just recording this video on a whim. There could be other graphical options or accessibility options in other games that you guys are thinking of right now as you're watching this that I don't have as well. Because I feel like this entire thing is just it's oddly barren in terms of options. But hang on, let's get into game. Okay, so now that we're in game, horizontal and vertical sensitivities are not the same. They are not the same. I haven't changed mine I haven't upped my vertical sense just because I don't want to have to math it out, figure out the one-to-one. It's just very odd to me that they are not 1-to-1. And there are no options here to make them 1-to-1. It's just very, very weird. It's just very weird. Maybe this is something that as an ex-esports player, I get unnecessarily pissed at, but it shouldn't be like this, you know? Like, again, going through QA, going through playtesting, someone has to notice this and be like, hey guys, the vertical sense is nowhere near the same as the horizontal. What's going on there? Like, someone has to notice that, right? Anyway, this isn't really too big of a complaint, but the aim sensitivity also felt absolutely terrible, and there's no option to make them one and the same. You can't have it so that the aim sensitivity when you ADS is similar to look sensitivity, which some games do have, and it makes ease of use so much better. Instead, I've just had to turn mine up a bunch, and that just messes with me because I don't know if I'm getting the right sensitivity. It's a whole thing, but yeah, it just doesn't feel quite right. And again, like come on, they are clearly different. Someone has to have noticed this, right? Anyway, if you wanted to know how to turn off TAA, it's just that. Toggle TAA off. TAA is now off. And even if you're at 100% render scale, the game's going to look very weird if you're on low settings like I am. Just a fair warning, but it's still better than shitty, blurry TAA. Anyway, that was my little rant. If you haven't bought this game yet and you're going to play it on PC, those are some things that you should probably keep in mind, just to temper your expectations. This is a nothing video. I just wanted to rant. But yeah, I don't know. I feel a little bit ignored. But again, for context, I am really enjoying Starfield. It's just some of these options I feel like they should be in there, but they're not, which is kind of odd. Anyway, see ya.